I'm Marcus Benjamin, bringing you the Benjamin Report live from Doak Campbell Stadium here in Tallahassee, Florida, where the Miami Hurricanes suffered a tough loss against Florida State, 27-20. Miami battled in this game. They battled all the way to the end. Unfortunately, this game was a game that will be remembered for an injury to Emory Williams at the end of the game. The breaking news to start this one was that Miami went with backup quarterback Emory Williams to start this game. TVD was benched. And I think it was the right move. It was definitely the right move. Most people probably didn't think the coaching staff had, the gumption to do it, but they did it. They decided to go with the true freshman in a huge rivalry game on the road. And first, let's talk about the positives before we get to his unfortunate ending injury to this game. He managed the game. He managed to the game to where he didn't turn the ball over. He moved the ball down the field on several drives, and he did what you wanted him to do given what you have on this football team. You've got a good defense, you got a good running game, and you just don't want your passing game to lose the game, like I've said on several Benjamin reports before. And that's what Emory did in this game. And it seems like these players really bond to him. They really he really galvanized, I thought, this team throughout the game. And he played with a sense of urgency, which you don't really see with Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, that's what it looks like from my point of view. So I liked what I saw from him from a leadership standpoint and from a game management standpoint. But let's call it what it is. Emory Williams was not very accurate in this game. He threw, I believe, 33% completion percentage, which is pretty bad. That's pretty horrendous, actually, for college football, high-level college football. Most of the time, if you're completing 30% of your passes, you're losing the game. So that really tells you how he truly managed the game, or how Shannon Dawson managed him, because some throws were there for Emory to make. And he put this team in a position to win the game at the end and converted a fourth down, putting his body on the line. And unfortunately for him, he suffered an injury that Mario Cristobal did say was very serious and that he went to the hospital for. But still, my heart goes out to the kid just for putting his body out on the line in this big-time rivalry game with, thousands of screaming fans in his ear, hoping that he didn't make the first down, which he did, kept the drive going deep into his own territory on a fourth down. So much is to be said about the heart of that kid and just everything that he did to keep the Hurricanes in this game. But the biggest takeaway for me in this game, the first one, is the fact that Miami is just a serviceable quarterback away from being competitive as far as for an ACC championship. Because let's be honest, Florida State is the favorite to win the ACC. They're already in the ACC championship game. And Miami fought toe-to-toe with them with a backup quarterback. Let's think about that for a second. This is the number 4 team in the nation. And yes, it's a rivalry game. Yes, a lot of the players know each other. I know all of that. But still, this was just the kid's second start and first on the road. And Miami almost pulled this game out. Miami has really improved in the major areas of a football team when it comes to running the football, defense, stopping the run. Miami is, in the top 10 for most of those significant categories. But when it comes to quarterback, which is the most important position on a football field, Miami has yet to have a quarterback that is better than serviceable. So this video should go out to all the recruits out there, quarterbacks in particular, to be like, yo, I mean, this program is probably waiting for you to take them back to glory, back to the promised land, back to where fans can be like, okay, the U is actually back, and actually mean it in their soul, mean it in their hearts and their brains as well. Because from what I saw today, Miami is just a serviceable quarterback away from becoming competitive in the ACC and maybe the college football playoff, because obviously Florida State right now is the number 14 in the college football playoff, and Miami almost took them down. If Miami would have had a serviceable quarterback for this entire season, this record probably would be a lot different than it is right now at 6-4. So, yeah, Emory Williams knocked out of the game on the last drive of the game, under a minute to go. In comes Tyler Van Dyke. And it almost felt like a Friday Night Lights episode, to be honest. When I saw it kind of going down, I was just like, okay, well, this is a situation where the quarterback was benched, and now he gets an opportunity to win this game on basically the biggest stage of the year. But what does Tyler Van Dyke do? Turn back into turnover Van Dyke, and he throws an interception. He's unable to push the team down the field to win the game. Obviously, it was a tough spot. Obviously, the interception was a must throw. He had to throw it. It was 4th down. But it's still evidence to me that Tyler Van Dyke is not the guy. Mario Cristobal said the contrary in the press conference, said that he believes that Tyler Van Dyke is a good quarterback, is going to be a great quarterback. It's hard to believe that from what you see. Now, with Emory Williams, now he does have to work on some accuracy issues. Maybe he was nervous. I mean, he was nervous, obviously. Big game. You're starting in front of, the ultimate rival for the Miami Hurricanes in Florida State. So I'm sure he is going to improve. And it seems he just needs to really improve his accuracy, because there were some throws there. They were the right throws most of the time. I mean, there was a one throw that started this last drive that was a near interception. That was like, oh my God, why did you throw that? But for the most part, Emory Williams made the right moves. He made some plays with his legs. He threw it to the right guy, but a lot of the times it wasn't accurate. One play that was extremely accurate was the bomb to Jacoby George. It was a really great play by Jacoby George to maintain concentration with 2 defenders coming at him. So credit to Jacoby George. Shout out to him overall for having just a career day today. You really saw what he can be, how he can take his game to the next level, and how Kevin Beard has worked with him to take his game to the next level. You really see that from Kevin Beard, and you're confident that that is going to continue from what you saw tonight from Jacoby George. He had 2 touchdowns tonight. Emory Williams threw him a beautiful fade in the first half to get the Miami Hurricanes in the end zone. So it was really promising to see that. Maybe too many targets to Jacoby George, because he had 10 targets overall. And, the other receivers really didn't have a lot of targets. So maybe, he was locking into him. But, hey, turned out to be a good thing tonight, because Jacoby George went off. Another player that did go off tonight was Don Chaney. And Don Chaney continues to be a great story for the Miami Hurricanes. He rushed for 7.1 yards a carry, and it wasn't even like a huge workload for him, but he broke out for some big time runs to get his team in position to score. So really liked what I saw from Don Chaney. Liked what I saw from Mark Fletcher as well, running the football. This running game is top notch, and it keeps churning, and it wears you down at the end of the game. Some other players I have to shout out is James Williams, 9 tackles. Kiko Mauanoa, 9 tackles as well. Also had a key sack in this game. Cameron Kinchins had 6 total tackles. He, made a great open field tackle to force a 4th down. The defense overall, like Mario Cristobal said, played their butt off. And they forced Florida State to punt on several occasions, giving Miami a chance to win. Forced Florida State 3 for 12 on 3rd down. That's really something that I think no one would have guessed would have happened tonight, that Miami would force a Florida State team that has been explosive, and they did have some explosive plays in this game, but still held them to 3 of 12 on 3rd down. Miami wasn't much better, 4 for 16 on 3rd down, but what you didn't see from Miami was those costly turnovers. And that's where, I got to give credit to Emory Williams for making the right decision, running when he needed to, taking the sack when he needed to. He just was smart with the football, and that's what you want to see from your quarterback. Now on to these refs, man. Like, these refs in the ACC, I'm convinced have some kind of thing with Miami, because for the second time this year, a clear safety wasn't called a safety. It was ridiculous. The first one I thought was the worst call I've ever seen in my life. And when it happened tonight, I was like, okay, I was pretty much convinced that they were not going to give Miami the safety. I said that to my colleagues in the press box, that they are not going to give Miami the safety. Yeah, it's clearly a safety that everyone was screaming in the box, but fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. And shame on you, ACC refs, for making that mistake again. Because Wesley Blasane clearly made the tackle on Jordan Travis. Plays like that could be in a difference in the game. Who knows how this game would have turned out if that would have went their way. So that was an absolute egregious call. Once again, the refs literally were in the way of Miami, even in the way of a pass that Emory Williams threw. So it's to me, it's weird. It's just there's just no explanation. And Cristobal said he got 0 explanation about the play. That should have been a safety. So something has to happen. An explanation needs to be had. Somebody needs to be fired. Something needs to happen, because the next time Miami gets a safety, I'm going to again assume that they will not get it. So that pretty much kind of wraps it up for the Benjamin Report here live from Tallahassee, Florida. Overall, I like what I see from Miami, because I think many people thought Miami would get blown out in this game. I wasn't one of them. I thought they would cover. I thought they would come within the 14 points. As you know, if you read my staff predictions, you could see that. Although I wasn't sure that Tyler Van Dyke was going to play or not. That would have probably changed my score a little bit. But I still thought Miami would cover regardless of who was playing at quarterback. But clearly this team is on the rise. And like I said, Miami's just one above average quarterback away from getting back to being the old Miami. When I say old Miami, as in the Miami of the early 2000s, the Miamis of the 90s, the Miamis of the 80s. They just need a serviceable quarterback to not turn the ball over, and hopefully Emory Williams will turn out to be the guy. Hopefully we'll get an update on his injury. It seems like it's serious. It's an arm injury. Seems like it could be possibly an elbow. I don't want to speculate, but he did have some kind of bandage or brace or cast on his arm when he was carted off the field. More from CanesCounty.com on that. Check the message board. That's going to wrap it up from Tally Ho.